morning and welcome to the Friday edition of Raper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands Quindy and Disembodied Beard John. Alright, looking at myself, I think I need to adjust my camera a little. I'm a little tilted. Oh no, I don't want to tilt. It's too early for that. No, Yeah, okay. Hello, yeah. I woke up too early today because I had an awesome dream, which is better than waking up too early because you have a nightmare. However, it still was waking up too early, and I was very annoyed at myself. Right, Kiki? Right, yeah. Yeah, Kiki. Hi, are you here? You know it's work time? It's work time. It is. I can't just sit here and pet you because you're just here to put fur on my palette. I know. Oh, and to lick the lotion I just put on my hands. Now I know why she came. Hi, Gilded Brush. Oh, hey! It's a good thing I was warming up my voice a little bit. Oh, happy suppiversary, happy suppiversary, happy suppiversary, happy suppiversary. There you go, Gilded Brush. Thank you. We appreciate your subs. Nom nom nom. We eat them all up. I'm in kind of a wacky mood because not enough sleep. Indeed. And unfortunately, Kuro's not here, so Small Scottish Cat cannot, go, crazy at me singing. Oh, well. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get horse. So I've been thinking a lot about Dude, and I'm not convinced with the red armor. I keep looking at it and being vaguely dissatisfied with it color-wise. So, I don't know, we might not keep it. We might go to the dark blue I was originally envisioning. But I'm still letting my brain percolate on it, so we'll see. But yeah, it was Oh, I need to put these little lotions out of the way here. I'm collecting tiny lotions because it's that season. There we go. Okay, oh, and I totally forgot to put all these away. Silly Anne. Luckily, that's easy. Now that I'm learning where I'm sticking things again. And dropping things, because it'd be that kind of day. I also had a really good thinky walk this morning that gave me some new ideas and scenes for Queenmaker, so that's good. Yeah, there's an Anne. I'm supposed to put that at the start of my my starting soon, so you guys can just watch the Anne montage while you're waiting for me. I've just not had the extra oomph to do it. But yeah, it's a cool montage that John put together. It makes me very self-conscious about how bad my cameras were back then, some of those early ones, as opposed to now. Okay, I'm still finding nubbins on this sucker. Still finding nubbins, and I want my ghosty bits to be smooth, so I must remove all nubbins. All nubbins must be destroyed. There. Alright, maybe. Oh, there's another one. Nubbin hunting. We're just nubbin hunting. Luckily, it doesn't take much to clear them off. You don't think the average viewer notices, huh? Well, of course, Quindy. It's like she rings a little, hypersonic bell, and, all the delivery people, instantly orient toward your building, even though they don't know why. Alrighty, I'm going to mix up our greens. We gotta get our dungeon slime out. Although now I have new dungeon slime. Maybe I should get new dungeon slime. Although, since I'm painting with existing dungeon slime, I probably should finish it up with that. Yeah, exactly, Quindy. Alrighty. I do not need liner. I only need phthalo green. Oh, not that green. The other green. No, not that green. The other green. There we go. And then I need Dungeon Slime and Elemental Yellow. So we're going to get our phthalo green laid out. Let's actually go back up. Boop, boop. There we go. I don't have much more of the dark swirlies to do. A lot of these guys down here near the ground are going to go lighter. I want to kind of give the idea that it's coming out of the ground kind of glowing, and so that means as it gets further down toward the source, it should get lighter. Ugh, very stuffy today too. Good deal. All right. So yeah, I haven't been getting a lot of writing done on Queenmaker Mage. I've been ideating and thinking about stuff, so figuring out just a few extra things about the magic system. What is it about magic systems that they just grow? Like, they just expand. They're like cats. They exponentially expand to fill all available space. I'm like, yeah, I'm done now. No, I'm not done yet. I haven't addressed this. Oh, wait, I'm not done yet. Okay, a little bit more of that. A little bit of Dungeon Slime. Hey, Slayer. Oh no. Yeah, the hairballs are the worst. I had to put Panther on once I switched him to like the hairball formula IAMS food, it seemed to help a little bit. But I just never managed to dial it in for him, like as far as like I was able to get him better, but I wasn't ever able to get him like hairball free. Yeah. Yeah, when you keep it simple, that's certainly like a bonus. I just wanted this one to be, I mean, it's my own fault. I wanted this one to be a very structured magic system. A very Brandon Sanderson magic system, I guess. Because I wanted something that had structure, but that could also expand. Like something I could really build a progression magic system out of. And progression fantasy, people really enjoy a magic system that's got a little bit more teeth. So, including myself, like I like it. I like seeing the foundation so I can make guesses about like what's the next, iteration or when it happens it makes sense, it's consistent. I like internally consistent magic. So, at least in Progression Fantasy I do. So yeah, I got myself into this. I can see why Brandon says all of his magic systems are actually just one magic system. I bet his core fundamentals are like the same and he just switches out the window dressing. It is fun to design it. Like, I used to love doing this stuff for my D&D games back in a long, long time ago, Gilded Brush. So it feels familiar, like it's something I've done before. I tried to develop a magic system for my first ever fantasy world that I started writing, that I also ran as a D&D setting. But it is kind of exhausting in a way. I think, that said, I think I'm almost, like, I feel like I've at least got enough that I can write the first several books. But I get the feeling that I'm going to come up with more ideas. There's some later parts that I'm leaving ambiguous on purpose. Hairball control food and treats, yeah. I see. Oh, yeah, yep, needs to be brushed more. Yeah, that was probably it. If I had brushed him more, I bet. Because he was Mama-san's son, so he was half Siamese, and he had that super fine fur. So I'm sure that was part of it. Hey, Laura. Yeah, magic system, definitely fun, just very, like, I just keep thinking of things for it. Like, I keep thinking of things. Like, I realized that I had a general idea of what focuses did, and not, like, and then I realized, like, what more they probably did, and I was like, why didn't I think of that earlier? And, you know, things like that. It's just, it just happens. I guess it's just the way I grow my worlds organically. All right. I've got my everythings that I should need. I'm going to put a little bit of water in that white, and then we can start filling out the rest of our swirlies. Oh, yeah, that's a whole ordeal. Yup. For sure, Quinny. That was just me blowing my nose, Bubs. Yeah, because I have itchy nose this morning. Itchy nose. So, are you available tomorrow, Quindy, for streaming? Kiki, no, it's me. Alright, awesome. We'll stream then. I'll probably work on Jazz Dude. I'm going to fix my flowers so that they're more the style that David is doing. And then I'm going to actually work on his skin, because I think that's the area that I'm most interested in. And I told David that, and he was fine with it, so... I'm leaving him to the hell of freehand, since he's, that's his problem. Like, if he's going to do it better than I do, then he has to do it. Hey, Kodiak. Alrighty. Little horse dude. Let's get his mane done and then get the swirlies done here, so that it's equivalent to the other side. Then we'll start working on these little guys. I might sticky tack him into his base so I can have something else to hold on to while I work on all these tendrils. I think I want my regular sized brush today. Yeah, alright. We'll just start by putting that dark shadow in behind the leg. Oh, and I should get closer. The thing with brushing is you have to get them accustomed to it, and some cats just never like it. Kiki doesn't particularly enjoy being brushed either. Or she thinks it's playtime. And she wants to eat the brush. That's what she's decided it's about. But usually to brush her tail and her backside, I have to get David to distract her with treats. Alright, let's get closer and let's actually get into focus. Into focus. And if I go a little bit too dark, I can just bring my white back in and put the dungeon slime over the top because I don't really care about blocking the light at this point. I'm also starting to pay a little more attention to like progression fantasy tropes in my magic system designing now that I'm further along. Since if I'm gonna try this on Royal Road, there are certain tropes for magic systems that I realized I can emulate pretty easily in this story. That I'm already kind of halfway there. So I'm going to bring in more white to kind of take this dark green a little back. Some animals just like to love you from 10 feet away. That's just the way it is. That's the way Kiki's grandma is, Nova. Bridget is fond of saying she will happily love her from 20 feet away. There, so we're lightening that up. Yeah, well, that's cats too, somewhat. You know, it's on their terms. If you wanted constant access to affection, you'd get a dog. Most dogs, anyway. But it's part of what makes cats more low maintenance, right? So Kiki is definitely not low maintenance. If you hadn't named him Thor, he wouldn't have grown into such a chunk. Happy Friday, Twisted Oma. More or less happy Friday. I have some annoying financial crap to take care of. I started taking care of it yesterday by heartily researching all of the crap I was going to have to do to have it happen. I have a solo 401k, and I had it with Vanguard, but then they decided they didn't want to do solo 401ks anymore, so they pawned it off on a different company, and I really don't want two different companies with my financial stuff. I'd rather have it all in one, so one dashboard enough, right? So I'm going to roll it over into an IRA, but I have to figure out how to do that. So it's been yesterday was kind of a deep dive into finance. Which, I won't lie, I kind of enjoy learning more about financial stuff. Like, I'm very, very happy that I have retirement accounts now, but I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing behind this little curl as well, so that it can show up a little bit better. Keekers, no. How about just settle, Bubs? No. Kiki, enough. Just settle. There's nothing out there you need to be worried about. So I always want to kind of back any detail we want to stand out. We need to back it with the darker color so that it can actually show up. I'm still a little bit dark on this one. I went a little too dark with it. Good girl. Enough. In here now. Settle. And shut up. Yep, you're done. You're done, dog. No more tolerance. Settle. Yeah, settle. Here. You can settle right next to Mama. Right here. There you go. Good girl. Yeah, I want you to settle down. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what you got yourself with the barking. Now you're in jail. That's why it pays to have a brush water jar that's very unique. Mine is a holographic Lego Movie Princess Unikitty glass from a McDonald's Happy Meal. Or maybe a Burger King Happy Meal. I don't remember. No, McDonald's. Although it's getting a little more faded as it gets older. But I can still see my Unikitty, so I'm happy. Then you need to work with always having it in a particular place and never putting your beverage near that place. Always have your beverage on your left and your water on your right, for example. Then you'll never swap. That's a little better, getting that going on. Just trying to cover over some of this darker green. I knew when I did it I was doing too much of it, but it's a little better. Then you've never seen the Lego Movie, which is a shame. It's a fun movie. It's whimsical, but I like whimsy. Hey, Roger. So you've almost got it. Got to get a little bit more detail up here. There's a little bit of a swirl of material up here that needs to be brought out a little. I feel like I've not gotten quite yellow-green enough on some of this. I'll lighten up this one. Oh, hamsterling. Yeah, now you're going to get into the boundary pushing phase, right? Many years of boundary pushing. I guess you start that at 2, right, Crowley? But I suspect it, like, the boundaries keep pushing with kids. Still not yellow enough. I may have over-greened my initial yellow-green. There we go. A little bit more like moth green. That's right. I needed a color that was like moth green. Oh, no, Crowley. Did you give him a stern talking to? I don't know how to even, like, talk to kids that age about this stuff. Probably since I am totally, like, I would do the totally wrong thing. I would be like, Mommy was going to make cookies tomorrow, but now that you're waking me up too much, I'm going to be too tired to make cookies. So I guess there's no cookies. Unless you let me sleep. Oh, of course, right. Yeah, because he didn't sleep. Yep. This is your own fault, kid. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have children. I knew that, like, even if I had been with a guy who I would have wanted, you know, who I would have considered it with, I know my patience is not up to the task. Like, parenting isn't something you can, like, go home and put down. I need my sleep, go back to bed. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to look up, like, I would actually have to research how to, like, talk to your kid at that age. Like, I really don't know. Although at 5, I don't know. At 5, would I have understood? I know I never did that to my parents at 5. Like, I could see doing that at like 3 or 4. I don't think I even did it then. Oh, yelling is legitimate, but it must be used in moderation. It's hard to get it right, yeah. I don't know. My mom's biggest complaint about me was not that I ever was intrusive that way. Like, it was actually the opposite. Um, I was the kid who was always, she always said I was in my own dream world. I was that kid. I had a very, very energetic internal life. Like very vivid. Probably a large part of why I turned out to be the creative person I am is that they didn't crush it. But I was not anybody, like, I would never seek out my parents to play. Like, I always wanted to play by myself. So that's why I would be very shocked, Crowley, if I did that at any point. Like, for one thing, my dad would have yelled, and I would remember that. But another thing, I just never, I was not a social beast like that. Like, I very much, if I stayed up late, it was to just imagine stories in my head. Like, if I woke up, I would like, start making up things, and then I just wouldn't get back to sleep for a long time. So yay, you've got a social little kid, but whoopsie. Also not yay. You're his favorite toys, yeah. Right. Yeah, I was always just the kid that I didn't interact with my parents. Even if I was playing right next to them, I wasn't playing with them, or I wasn't, like, interactive playing. I was just, like, again, I was running around with my imaginary companions. I have pretty vivid memories of that. And my mother, like, for years just rolled her eyes and went, you just live in your own little world. She despaired. She despaired of me. She didn't know how I was going to turn out. Because I was so very much up in my own thing. It was hard for me to, like, make friendships. Like, I would always rather just, like, not always, but, often I would rather just be in my room reading. Quindy. Yeah, I would go out and just build, like, I built a dragon one year because I really wanted to be in Pern. I really wanted a dragon, a Pernese dragon in Anne McCaffrey's world. So I built myself a snow dragon. I don't know. I'll ask my mom, Crowley. I'll ask my mom if I ever woke them up wanting to play when I was a little kid. I do remember waking them up, like, when I was scared, like, if I had a nightmare. I remember that, like, around age 3 or 4. I have some pretty vivid memories of when I was, like, 3, 4, 5 years old. There we go. All right. I was mostly a reading and writing kid. Reading, writing, and arting. Same stuff I do now. Just going to darken this down here, get his leg kind of mapped in here. So we want to use our darker green and kind of like go around these little swirlies so they'll stand out once we've got them mapped in. Alright, so kind of just getting those little guys mapped in. And then we'll start highlighting. Later Spendrake. And then dark on the bottom of the foot as well. We can keep the dark green a little bit, like we can be lighter handed with it, so it doesn't quite take over as much. So now I've got, yeah, right, how much of that stuff do you retain about other people, right, Twisted Oma? Yeah. I don't know if my mom even would remember at this point. Alright, so kind of have all that mapped in. You can see the detailing. Oh, I was notorious for staying up in bed reading way too late. So they had to pry me out of bed in the morning as well. I think that's another plate. No, it's not a plate on that side. I don't know. Looks like a plate, though. It looks like a plate behind a plate. I was up too late last night because we were finishing an episode of the Great Pottery Throwdown show. I wanted to see the end, so I made an executive decision to stay up later than I should. Oh, there's a Kiki fur in my... Go figure, there's a Kiki fur in my model. Hold on. There. Yeah, me too, Laura. Those are my earliest stories that I made up. We're all sitting in bed, not falling asleep. Even then, I was writing stories when I was like... I can't remember exactly. I think I started around... I started writing them, I think, around 9 or 10 years old, maybe? Maybe even a little earlier, trying to write them. At first I just copied other stories that I liked. And then I got to, there was a switch flip in my head at one point where it was like, people liked it better when I made it up instead of, copying other people. So I, I put more worth on that, and I started developing my own stories at that point. My mom was really impressed when I made up something myself, but she wasn't impressed when I, copied a different story that I liked. She was not into fanfic. So I very much grew up with an emphasis on creating my own worlds. Oh, that's funny, Tristan. Yeah, kids are funny. These days I use a white noise machine. So there's fewer night sounds because I'm a really light sleeper. But the white noise machine really helps me sleep and not wake up. I think I got it on sale at some point, but it's just a little box. I bring it with me to ReaperCon as well. Oh, that's a bummer, Rage. My mom is really proud of me for publishing my books. She makes a point of telling me that because she knows my dad never will. Which is why she has a dedication and he doesn't. That's the vengeance, Marage. That's the vengeance I've taken. Is that my father will never get a dedication in my books. It's not that I don't love him in his way, but he never supported my artistic stuff. He never wanted me to do it. He never visited Reaper, even when my mom came to see me and see my workplace. So it's fine, and it's just who he is, but he's not going to get a book dedication. Yeah. Yeah, I always, if I forget mine at the hotel at ReaperCon, I always regret it. Quindy, yeah, bringing the white noise machine is, yeah, the rain sounds are also good. Yeah, David and I have like compromised. Like I like white noise, but he likes like deeper noises, and so we've compromised on brown noise, which is a deeper white noise. The rain sound with my machine sounds just too artificial, and it doesn't work for me. But we've successfully compromised on the brown noise now. Oh yeah, it's to the point you can't sleep without rain sounds. Yep. Yeah, your dad is supportive rage. That's cool. Yeah, I used to do that. I used to just use my phone and do it. At some point, I think my phone was on really low battery, and I was just like, and I like wasn't with the charger or something. I don't remember why. I just bought the machine. Oh, no, I just use that. But yeah, whatever works, right? Like sleep is number one. Sleep is important. So I think I've got this about where I want it. A little bit dark on this side, not as yellow, but yeah, it still looks fine. So we'll work this down now. So I'll put in some more dark underneath here. So I kind of got that all mapped in. The fan is a must. Yeah, see, actually, I started using the noise machine instead of the fan because I was just getting too cold. So we don't turn the fan on at night now because it gets really freaking cold in my room. And I decided with the noise machine I probably didn't need it, and I was right. So, but yeah, if you need it, I get it because for a long time that was me. All right, so I want to get the underside dark here, but any side that's going to be visible, I'd rather leave a little lighter unless it's right here under the leg, in which case I'm going to bring it in a little darker. Ceiling fan on, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair, Laura. That's kind of what my mom attitude was. I just got lucky and my art turned into a job. Or perhaps not lucky. I worked my butt off until my art turned into a job. Let's just say it the way we should say it. I also got lucky. But there was a fair amount of hard work in there too. Yes, that makes sense. It does tend to sound artificial for sure. Alicia, I burned out a couple times until I figured out a balance. It is something not everybody can do because often it will like you said, turning your love into a job tends to it makes it a job. You have to figure out how, if you can, still to enjoy it as a hobby. Some people don't. Some people just cultivate other hobbies. I still paint for myself, as you guys know. But I have, if I were not doing it for a job, because for a while there, when I was working at Reaper, and we first transitioned me away from being a full-time staff painter and more into the paint line designer slash paint department manager. After many years, I was really burned out when we transitioned me. And after many, many years of just working in the paint department and not being a staff painter, I got the love for the hobby back, but it took me a long time to get out of burnout. Once I was out of burnout, I've been very careful since then to recognize when I'm on that road again and just to back off. It doesn't happen so much now because I'm not a staff painter. I do need to paint examples for my Patreon stuff, but it's not nearly as intense as it used to be with doing the Reaper stuff. Just going to bring in a little bit of this dungeon slime on this tendril here. And I still need to do the main up here, so let's do that. So yeah, the danger, there's a lot of dangers when you make your hobby your job. I mean, one of them is that, and this is a killer for a lot of people, a lot of creative people, one of them is that you now have a pressure on you to perform your art or your hobby, right? Before you didn't have a pressure on you, but now, if it's your job, you have to do it or you're not going to get paid, right? So that pressure for a lot of creative people is poisonous. It will lead to burnout and like a total, totally not wanting to do it anymore, which is why probably your question, comes about, right? Because a lot of people have trouble with that. For me, the fact that the Patreon isn't like paint every day, and that it involves a lot more of like specific examples. I don't have to finish a lot of the models I work on. This stream I do, I usually finish the models I work on. But the stream's different. The stream is totally relaxing because I'm just hanging out with you guys. And there's no like deadline, right? It's not like I have to finish Ghosty Horse in 2 days. I can paint Ghosty Horse till he's done, right? So that removes pressure. Pressure for me is kind of a creativity killer. So it's a challenging balance to figure out how to do that, and some people really don't and don't ever get there and just like would rather have their hobby be their hobby. And some people, like me, I tried it once. I tried being freelance and I failed because it was mostly commission painting. So that was what burned me out so bad. And then I came to Reaper and I was still burned out. But from trying to freelance once, I knew that I otherwise, like there were a lot of things I liked about it. And I had really not done it, like, it just wasn't a sustainable model for me. But once Patreon came around, I realized that maybe it could be sustainable for me if I did Patreon. And it has been sustainable for me. I really enjoy my Patreon. Because it's not me painting models. Like, I could not run a painting studio. I cannot do what Lovejoy does. Like, I cannot paint for commission for a living. No way. Never. That is a fast path to total burnout. So part of it also is figuring out, if you want to work in a given creative industry, what niche in that industry or what type of job in that industry is sustainable for you. I'm going to, again, take some of the darker green. I'm just going to be outlining some of these swirls. Yeah, and when I'm working on, like, there are some times when I'm painting where I just want to paint for myself, like, by myself. There are times I will go into our hobby room if I'm caught up on my Patreon and stuff, I'll just take a break and go into my hobby room and paint while David isn't home, just so I can paint alone. Like, just have my me time. But I would say, like, if I didn't do Patreon, like, if the books took off and I started, really selling a lot of books and that became my main income stream, would I still, like, do all the Patreon and the streaming and stuff? No, I would scale it back, and when I did, I would probably enjoy painting more again. Like, there's a scale, right? There isn't just, I don't enjoy my hobby anymore. I could enjoy my hobby more if I, wasn't doing a bunch of it for work, but I still enjoy it, right? So for me, it's more like the amount of energy I have to paint for myself is reduced by the fact that I have it as a job. I still like to do it. I'm still looking forward to, like, starting a new bust to try out these Chimera Velvets. Like, I'm excited about that. And if I was truly burned out, there was no way I could be excited about that. But like, I'm not painting every day for myself. Even though I could make time in the evening to paint for half an hour. And I may need to do that if I really want to get a Golden Demon entry done. When it comes to this coming year, I may need to buckle down and do it. But yeah, there are times when you go to paint and think, hey, this would be good content, and then hardly get to paint it for just you. Right, exactly, because when you're sharing it, it's different, right? Yeah, like, I know that if I use a mini for streaming or for an example, I'm probably not going to paint it for myself. So there are some minis that I would rather save for myself for my own enjoyment. But yeah, I'm not as into it. I definitely am not as into it as I would be if I wasn't doing it for a living. And I just know that just because I saw what happened when I was just a paint line designer, right? I suddenly had more energy to paint for myself. So yeah, and it's not the same for everybody. I mean, it's different for everyone. And some people just can't do it. Some people just cannot turn their hobby into their job. They instantly lose interest in it. It's no longer fun at all for them. And the thing about having a creative job like this is, like, you could, and this is what we tell, like, this is honestly what you tell, like, most beginning authors. Like, people come on to the writing Reddit, the self-published Reddit or whatever, and they're looking to make money. And it's like, dude, if you want to make money, there are 1,000 different jobs in the world that would be less hard than this that you would make more money at. Like, so you're never gonna get rich, having a creative job, doing an art job. But working for myself, I love it because it gives me the ultimate freedom to structure my day however I want, as long as I get my work done. I can have time to go to physical therapy, I can make time for this or that or the other thing. I can, spend 4 hours working on one project, or I can split it up. I can, I've got a lot of freedom, and I love that. Feel like you still enjoy computers as your job until you discovered more satisfying creative outlets. Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe you're able to do that, right? Like, people can. There are people who have the mental breakdown, the kind of, the strengths and the personality traits that they can still do the things they love as a job. Like, I mean, what you could do, Buds, is ask yourself, when you're painting and you're liking it and you're enjoying it so much, ask yourself, if I had to paint this mini, if there was pressure on me to paint this mini, would I still enjoy it? Or would I just get sick of painting, right? That's the thing. And some people actually enjoy the pressure. Like, it's not a big thing for them. Hey, Richard. We're talking about turning your hobby into your job. And, this shroom thing that Kara has started is honestly just license for Ron to make all of the silly shrooms he ever wanted to make. Ron is a shroom enjoyer. Somewhere Ed is like spinning in his grave. Or up in heaven like face palming. It's like, Ron, what are you doing, Ron? Yeah, and I often show off personal stuff that I've worked on stream, right? So now the Golden Demon one that I'm working on my Saturday stream, that's a little bit of a different thing. This is the first time I've tried to do like a high-end competition piece on a stream, but it is like the stream is almost the only time that I have to like paint for myself these days. Like I make that time. So we'll see how it works. There may be a point at the Golden Demon entry where I just take it off stream. Or I may stick to it more, who knows. But yeah, the big thing is just the pressure. Like, there's a lot of authors in the coaching program I'm in who are struggling with the pressure, the financial pressure, and it killing their creativity. I mean, kind of the answer to that is to also carry like a part-time job so that it takes some of the pressure off of you. Oh, interesting, Butts, yeah. It's like a person-to-person thing. I don't know enough about like neurodivergent stuff to speak to it. But I do know that like there's definitely like strengths rollouts, like personality traits that react better under pressure than others. There's some that are very, very sensitive to external pressure, and I have a couple of those, so I definitely do not. I mean, I perform under pressure. Don't get me wrong. Like, give me a deadline, and usually I'll nail it, and it will motivate me. But I won't enjoy it. Like, it will be stressful on me. I thought for a long time that I performed better under pressure until I realized that I was just really bad at organizing myself. And really, it was just that the pressure was the only trigger that I had found that would actually, like, make me execute. And once I figured out, like, an organizational system for myself to motivate myself, then I didn't need the pressure anymore, and then I really became allergic to it. Which is another reason I love being self-employed, because I'm self-motivated. And it allows me to, like, set my goals far enough in advance that they're, like, I can complete everything while I'm relatively relaxed and not have to encounter pressure unless I choose to by making other things priority, and then I have to hustle at the end of the month, like last month. Yes. Yeah, give yourself the freedom to continue working on the minis later off screen. Yeah, for sure. You can focus short term, but over the longer term. Yeah, exactly. Yep, yeah. Alright, just trying to get these little main bits kind of pulled out and separate from each other, and then I can bring in more I want to keep some white up here for sure. Kept a little bit of white on the other side, not as much. So I'll bring in a little bit of the moth green and dungeon slime. Yeah, the stress is not great for me at all. I like to have everything like in my month figured out in advance so I can kind of relax and work on it without having a ton of pressure. I feel like I put out a better product that way. There we go. And that's actually why I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing the Chimera Velvets review next month, and I'm going to do something more on like the consistency differences between different types of paint for Color Workshop this month, because I have definitely a truncated month with David's parents showing up on the 22nd. I won't be able to do a lot of work once they're here, I know from experience, and then we're going out of town, so that means I have relatively little time to get everything done this month, and the Chimera review is going to take time. It's going to mean that I have to sit down and paint a model with those paints, and although I enjoy that, it's going to take a lot of time. So like it would put a lot of pressure on me to have to do that Chimera Velvets review this month, just because of the amount of work that I need to do to write a decent one. And who knows, like, we'll see how this coming week progresses. I'm going to have a better idea of where I am at that point. There we go. Okay, horsey. Mane looks good. We'll go down to the tendrils. I think whether you don't enjoy your hobby as much if you turn it into a job is also, do you enjoy like working, right? Like, I definitely enjoy being busy, and I enjoy like working on the stuff I need to get done for everything, you know. I like marking tasks off my to-do list. Thanks, Richard. I think Horsey's coming along. I'm going to get a couple of blobs of blue tack. And I'm going to put them underneath him to stick him down on this so that I can actually work on the bottom parts without handling them. So I'm going to take this blue tack and stretch it out really slim, and then I'm going to lay it down where his base goes in. Right about there. And then I'm going to swoosh him down in there. And kind of wiggle him a little bit so that he sticks down into that tack. There. I feel like That's pretty good. There, and now I can hold the base while I paint him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the, like, if you enjoy working. Like, do you enjoy just being busy? Do you enjoy, like, like, I get very aimless when I don't have a to-do list. And I can just, like, I can always, like we go on vacation, I'm happy to veg and read and to go and do things as necessary to keep my husband placated. But at home, I'm very much like, I'm like, oh, I have an hour, I can do this. I've got a whole to-do list that I can do. And, like, most people would probably look at my life and say, you work way too much. Like, David thinks I do. Like, he's like, you are always busy, you are always working. But I'm enjoying most of my work, right? It's like, if I have, like, some time in the afternoon to sit and write, technically that's work, right? But I'm still enjoying it. Whereas I don't necessarily sit down and enjoy watching a movie. Not the same, like, I would rather be actually doing something. I would like to be working on my projects. Like, I guess part of my life enjoyment is, like, completing, like, projects that are important to me. So it's weird. I don't know. But it's part of why, like, I can exist doing everything I do, like, between the YouTube, the Patreon, the writing the novels, and still working a little bit for the dog people that I work with, the nonprofit that I started with them a long time ago, the Shiloh Shepherd folks, like, still working a little bit for them, and learning ads, and all the things I do. I'm happy being productive, I guess. Yeah, I'm there with you, Marich, exactly. I like to be able to look back on the day and figure out things you accomplished. Yep, 100%. Because it makes me feel good to do that. Like, it's a dopamine rush for me to check something off the list. And if I'm ignoring something, like if there's a really annoying thing I have to do and I've just been pushing it in the background, I'll actually start stressing out and not knowing why. Until I figure out, oh, I've been avoiding this task. I need to get this task, knocked out. So, it's weird. Yeah, you get frustrated if you struggle to get stuff accomplished. I think a lot of us do. Like, that's the problem with, like, working, when you don't work for yourself and you're, you have to do the stuff that they lay down for you to do. You don't have a lot of control, right? You just have to do whatever. It's your job. Depending on the job, you may have more control than in some jobs than others, but. So we're going to keep our greens pretty light as they get down here. I think I want to put down a bunch of white down here at the bottom. I've got a little tiny bit of the Dungeon Slime on my brush, so it's going to be a greenish white. That's fine. Ectoplasm white, so to speak. Maggot white, almost. Except maggot white's a little bit more green, a little less yellow. Right, and that's a lot of that's a lot of the annoyance of work, right? Not having time to work on the things you really would like to be working on. Yeah, like I would if I had to get a real job, I would not be able to like I don't know what I would do. I probably would have to stop the Patreon because at that point, if I had to get a real job, I would be like, I'm gonna work on my novels in my spare time, right? If I had to choose at that point and I was making an income. Because I wouldn't have time for the Patreon anymore. Nor would I have time to like stream every morning, so. Alright, so I'm just going to block everything in that pale color. Yeah, I love being self-employed. I have no urge to go back into the workforce. If I can manage to do this, like, until we hit, like, retirement age, I will. 100%. So you can see how light that color is, and I'll probably even lighten it further by putting down some white. I don't need, because it's the bottom of the model, I no longer have to worry about transmitted light coming through the model. And I'm just mixing essentially a tiny bit of Dungeon Slime into my white to make this color. And we'll just block that in, then we'll start working in. Oh, I see a nubbin. Yeah, most jobs give us very little creativity. It's probably one of the biggest complaints people make about jobs now. It's like lack of creativity and or lack of purpose, right? So we've got that kind of nebulous Dungeon Slime glowy thing going on. We'll get the other side here. I think I want to go with a slightly bigger brush here. I'm gonna we'll grab the DaVinci 2. Bigger brush, more fill in more faster. I know, I'm pretty happy with my life right now, all things considered. Although Written Word Media's author survey results came out, and now I'm feeling like crushed under the weight of how many books I need to write to actually like start seeing a return. Apparently the average number of books like make more than $1,000 a month, I think, is like 20 or more. as far as having books published. It's the average, so some people need fewer and some people need more. The crazy thing was that I think they had like 16 or 1,800 authors like reply to the survey from all over the world, but mostly America, I suspect. And the people making over $10,000 a month with their writing are people who have more than, are you ready? More than 60 books out. Now, this is mostly independent authors. But I suspect that, like, it would change a lot with traditional authors just because, like, there are very few traditional authors who've written that many books. Like, Jane Yolen has written over 100. But, like, many of those are, like, children's or young adult. Most traditional authors don't last that long. Yeah, right? The only way that you're going to put out 60 books is, like, as an indie author, because they want you to, like, write one book a year if you're trad. But yeah, that really, like, that was a splash of cold water in the face, right, Marage? Can you imagine having 60 books done? I'm always just amazed I even have 4. David pointed out, because, like, apparently getting, like, you can hit, when you hit more than 10 books out that things tend to go upward at a steeper curve. And David pointed out I'm almost halfway there, so that made me feel a little better. I almost have 5 books out. I'll have 5 books out next year, most likely. But then I still have 5 more to write before I maybe start seeing a little success. Yeah, it's insane. Most of those writers were romance writers. And so they are writing shorter books, because romance novels are usually 50K. 50, like, that's an average, I think, length. And they benefit from having a voracious readership that's always looking for more books, with a lot of profitable niches in their market. Romance is king. It's the most popular genre out there, as far as pure, like, books sold or read. Yeah, the cozy mystery is usually 75,000 words. Yep. That's true. My books are long, Pendrick. But that's, like, that's also what my genre, like, wants. Fantasy and epic fantasy type stuff. They want long books. I get disgruntled if I end up with a shorter book. I'm not mad at the author for writing a shorter book, but I'm disappointed. Dang it, there's still nubbins over there, and they're really hard to get. I need to get that one. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of profitable authors who are making that much who are not writing romance, but a lot of them, like 40% of the top, like, over $10,000 earners were romance writers. They broke it down in their blog post about it. I could see writing, like, paranormal romance maybe, but we'll see. One of the Bear King's books coming up is going to have a bit of romance in it, so it's just the way that it's going to pan out with the story. So we'll see. We'll see if I like it. We'll see if I enjoy it. I think for me, I could enjoy writing romance, but the characters, like, my problem with the romance genre is the characters tend to be a bit cookie cutter, and that's not what I write, so... So I don't think I could write romance as a genre, but I can write books with romance in them if the romances are well-developed characters. Oh, I don't want to go to that dark down there. Yeah, it does, Richard, for sure. I mean, but that's what romance readers want. Like, they want more of the same. Like, that's the thing to understand is, like, we call it bad writing, but it's really not because that's what their audience wants. And I've always been of the opinion, if it's popular, like, you can think that it's bad, but it's obviously, like, hitting the spot for a lot of people, so I can't call it really bad writing at that point. It serves its purpose, right? It may not be to my taste, but all right, we got our glowy glue. Oh, I missed one right there. But yeah, there's definitely a formulaic way to write that stuff. But there's a formulaic way to write like things like urban fantasy as well. Like there are blueprints and stuff out there. All right, there we go. Okay, now I've got a lot of glowing goo down here that's all just kind of its own thing. So I'm going to try to go through and use white and use very, very little of the slightly darker greens down here at the bottom. Yep, that's 100%, Richard. 100%. That's a great comparison. Yep. It's not like it's bad. It's just like not to. If you're not a fan of white bread, then that white bread is not to your taste, right? Yeah. You go looking for your artisan loaf and your, with your hand ground flour and your, tasty walnuts and cranberries in it. But somebody else just loves a good white bread, so. And that's their jam. It's cool. It is what it is. Alright, so now we're getting that white in there to try to create a little bit of variance down here. I do want a lot of white. And I'm going to darken down just a little bit down there. So I grab my moth green equivalent. That's probably as dark as I want to go down here. To kind of differentiate these different masses. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is I want to see that gradation from the darker greens down to here, and I need a little bit more of this darker green kind of going down toward here. I think I need to introduce the gradient into here. It's actually, there's less quality control and it's more personal preference. There are people out there reading pretty bad, like romance or lit RPG or progression fantasy books. There's a lot of not great books on Royal Road, but people devour them anyway because the readership base wants more than, it wants more. It wants to consume more of what it likes. And so even kind of a not great book can do quite well as long as it scratches the itch that demographic wants. As long as it knows the tropes. It won't do amazing if it's bad writing, but it can do quite well. It can give the author a platform to to become a better writer as they write more books. All right, so putting in a little bit more of the greens. So I've got a little bit more of a gradient going from up here, a little more transition from up here to down here. But at the foot, I really want to keep it pretty light. Oh, time check. Thanks. Yes, there are 2 tombstones. 1 full tombstone, 1 crumbled. All right, so we at least got that all blocked in. We finished the horsey up top, which is great. I'm very happy about that. So we just have some more ectoplasm to work on. And I need to make a decision about whether I'm going to change the color of this guy's armor, which probably I am. I don't think the dark red is going to work anymore. I'm not convinced. I think blue's going to be better. Dark blue's going to be better. So it's my thought. We'll see. On Monday, we are on basing day on Monday. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. If I bring the armor up, though, it will look Christmassy. Right? I don't think the dark red is overly Christmas, but yeah, it'll definitely have that. It'll slide that way pretty quickly if I brighten that red. So I'm gonna go with the blue, I think, instead. Oh, I forgot to get his foot, but I'll remember it eventually. The armor still looks like bacon. Yep, it's bacon. Well, we're gonna make it unbacony next. Now I want to make some bacon. But yes, Monday will be basing day. I will have my stream tomorrow with your favorite mod, Quindy. That'll be at 3 p.m.-ish. But I always get on between 3 and 3:30, depending. On twitch.tv/paintingbig. And I'll be working on the jazz musician that we're doing for David's mom for Christmas. And I'll be working on the skin tones on that. He's got dark skin, so if you guys are interested in dark skin tones, then you might want to tune in. And maybe I'll even play around a little bit with the chimeras if I really feel brave. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a fun week. Man, it's moving, though. It's already December 5th. We have 20 days. We have less than 3 weeks to Christmas, guys. Or wait, no. Yes, 20. Yes, less than 3 weeks to Christmas. That's way too. And only 2 weeks till my in-laws arrive. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? All right, I've scared you all now. Kiki's wagging her tail at y'all. And I will see you all on either tomorrow or Monday. Thanks so much, and have a good one. Bye.